the coffee's black. Lunch pail riding in the shotgun rack. That old Ford coughs then comes alive. Another working man begins his drive. I clock in before the morning light, tread my back for another night. While this whole town's still dreaming on, I'm earning my living before the dawn. Steel-toe boots on a concrete floor. Same old whistle, same old door. Ain't chasing glory, ain't chasing fame, just keeping food beneath our name. The sun comes up while I'm inside, but a working man still carries pride. I clock in before the morning light, with tired hands and a heart held right. When that factory whistle carries on, I'll be earning my living before the dawn. These hands are young and smooth one time, before the dust, the steel and grind. Now every scar and crooked nail can tell a hard-earned working tale. These hands paid the bills on time, held my babies when they cried. They never wore a rich man's rings, but Lord, these hands built everything. They fixed the roof and changed the tires, carried wood and tended fires. They held my woman through the years and wiped away a lifetime's tears. Shake more than they did, but they gave a better life to my kids. These hands paid the bills on time, kept our little world alive. They never held a upended, fence posts leaning, rules got bent. Daddy said, boy, find something better. So I left home in worn out leather. I got gravel in my boots, red dirt running through my roots. I've walked 1,000 factory floors, but that old road still calls me home. We had one fan and no cool air, 3 boys sleeping everywhere. We didn't know that we were poor till the world came knocking at our door. I left that town at 17, but it never really left me. I got gravel in my boots, hard times tangled in my roots. No matter how far I may roam, that dusty road still leads me home. Washed the grease off, came alive. Clean white shirt and my best jeans, $20 and a tank of dreams. We two-stepped in Miller's Hall like Monday never came at all. Fiddle flying, hardwood shaking, young hearts giving, old hearts breaking. Farm boys, welders, girls from town spun those faded dresses around. No velvet ropes, no neon stars, just sawdust floors and mason jars. We didn't have much money then, but every Friday we were rich again. Miller's Hall with our shadows on the wall. Fiddle flying, boots were shaking. Those were nights worth all the waiting. She stood waiting by the mill gate, blue dress on and running late, hair tied back with a ribbon white. Lord, she changed my whole life that night. Married by the mill gate, I was early, she was late. One little little smile beneath that sky turned a working boy into a family man. I offered her a ride downtown. She laughed and said, "Don't let me down." That old Ford shook the whole way through, but I drove slow to stay with you. Some men find gold beneath the ground. I found mine when you turned around. I still thank the hands of fate. One little smile beneath that sky gave this working man the love of his life. Wasn't much of a ring, but it was all I had. I saved $10 every week, skipped my lunch and worked past 3. Found a little ring on 2nd Street, gold worn thin, but shining sweet. It was a ring from the pawn shop window, bought with overtime and hope. It didn't cost what diamonds do, but every penny said, "I love you." Down by Cedar Creek, my knees were weak, I could hardly speak. She cried and held that little band like I had placed the world inside her hand. The gold grew dull, the years moved on, but what it promised stayed strong. It was a ring from the pawn shop window, still on her hand everywhere we go. It didn't cost what diamonds do, but 50 years won't make it less true. Baby needed medicine. Rent was due on Friday then. Boss said someone called in sick. I raised my hand and took the shift. I was a double shift daddy, living tired, loving glad. badly. Missed some dinners, missed some games, but I never missed why I stayed. Came home quiet after 2. Saw 3 little pairs of shoes. Mary left my supper warm, and a note that said, "We're holding on." My children may not recall my face, standing tired in that doorway frame. I was a double shift daddy, hands worn rough but heart stayed happy. Missed some moments, that is true, but every hour belong to you. Rust on the door and a cracked bench seat. Heater only worked in August heat. Had to kick the tire and pray a bit, but that old Ford just wouldn't quit. That old Ford carried all we own, baby's lumber, dreams, and stones. It smoked uphill and shook downhill, but that old Ford is running in my memory still. Took Mary dancing, brought our children home, all my daddy's tools in my mama's stove. Every mile left another dent, but it always knew where the good road went. Showroom lights, but none of them carried my whole life. That old Ford carried all we own, through every road we ever called home. It smoked uphill and shook downhill. That old Ford is running in my memory still. We had 2 rooms and a kitchen light. The window shook on a windy night, but when the summer thunder rolled, that little house felt safe and whole. Rain on a tin roof, Mary lying close to me, children sleeping down the hall. We had nothing, we had it all. Buckets caught what the ceiling missed. We laughed each time the cold dropped. ones I loved all gathered near. I have heard rich men complain they never heard love inside the rain. Children dreaming down the hall. We had nothing, we had it all. Doctor smiled and said, "A boy." Mary cried a tear of joy. I looked down at his tiny feet, then counted every bill that week. Overtime and baby shoes, that's a life a working man will choose. A little less sleep, a little more to lose, a whole lot of love and baby shoes. Second child came 2 years on. By then the overtime was gone. I patched the crib and painted blue, made an old thing look brand new. Every child brought one more fear and one more reason to stay here. Overtime and baby shoes, I gave them everything I knew. A little less sleep, a little more to lose, a lifetime of love in those baby shoes. "27 years on line number 3. Boss would not look straight at me. He folded up a paper white, said the plant shuts down Friday night. I had a pink slip in my pocket and a house note coming due. All the years I gave that company couldn't buy me one more afternoon. Sat inside my truck till dark, couldn't make myself turn the spark. How do you tell the ones you love that giving all was not enough? A man can lose his job that day without losing who he is along the way. I had a pink slip in my take my life. I drove around for half the night, too ashamed to face the light. But when I turned onto our road, one yellow window softly glowed. She kept the porch light on. When I thought all hope was gone, she never asked what I had lost. She only said, "Come home." Coffee on the stove, her old sweater, my work coat. She said, "Your job was what you did. It never was the man you is. The world can turn its cold light off, but faithful love will guide you home." She kept the porch light on through every night that felt too long. She never asked what I had lost. She only held me home. Found his hammer in the shed, rust along the iron head, handle worn where his hand lay, like he had only left that day. Daddy's hammer still feels heavy, like the words he seldom said. Do the job and do it steady. Keep your promise, earn your bread. He never hugged much, never cried, but he stood close by my side. Taught me more with calloused hands than I ever learned from better men. my kids, and I understand the life he lived. Daddy's hammer still feels heavy, but I carry what he said. Love your family, work things steady, lead more honor than regret. Sat third stool from the wall, ordered one beer, that was all. 30 years we worked the line, cussed the heat and passed the time. There's an empty stool at Ray's old place, nobody sits there out of grace. The jukebox plays, the door still swings, but an empty stool changes everything. Heart gave out one Tuesday morn, work shirt hanging, coffee warm. The whistle blew like every day, but nothing sounded quite the same. A working man can disappear and leave a silence everyone hears. There's an empty stool at Ray's old place, I still turn expecting his face. There's an empty stool at Ray's old place, I still turn expecting his face. The jukebox plays, the door still swings, but an empty stool remembers everything. New plant sat across the county line, lower pay and longer drive. Young boss looked me up and down, said, "Oh man, can you keep up now?" I'm back on the line, still standing, still on time. You can bend this back and test these hands, but you won't outwork this working man. Kids half my age began too fast. By noon they wondered how I lasted. I learned a rhythm years ago: work it steady, make it flow. Experience does not make a sound, it just keeps going. When youth slows down, I'm back on the line, still standing, doing fine. You can count my years and but you won't outwork this working man. Tennessee, girl found work near Abilene. Their old rooms still look the same, but the house forgot their names. The kids live far from here, call on Sundays twice a year. We raised them strong enough to leave that as pride mixed up with grief. Mary keeps their pictures clean, talks about the grandchildren. I smile and say they're doing well, then listen to the silence settle. A father builds his children wings, then wonders why the empty house still stings. The kids live far from here, but their voices bring them near. We raise them strong enough to leave that is love mixed up with grief. I'd choose her again. She saw every side I carried, every weakness, every nerve. 30 years and one good woman, one old house and one warm bed. A million things we never told each other, but we stayed through all of them. We have fought about the money, we have cried beside the phone, but every time the world got heavy, we got heavy there together. Love is not the spark that starts, it is the fire somebody guards. pawnshop promise, and I would choose her anywhere. Shop is boarded tight, down or lost, it's a neon light. Hardware store where daddy traded now says coming soon, but nothing made it. Main Street lost its name, every corner looks the same. They tore the heart out piece by piece and sold the town back cheap. Miller's Hall is parking space, bank put glass across its face. Kids drive through but never know where Friday night believers used to go. Progress came in painted signs and left our memories behind. Cannot sell my memory. Stomp, 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 pause. Upright bass slap answers. Stomp, bass, stomp, bass. Mandolin adds sharp offbeat chops. No melody instrument. 55? Hell, I ain't done yet. Mirror says my hair turned gray, knees complain it end today. Young men call me sir downtown, like I am halfway underground. 55 ain't finished, I still got fire in it. There is work left in these hands and a little more road for this working man. I may rise a little slow, but I still know what young finished, I still got fight within it. There is work left in these hands and a whole lot more road for this working man. Deep gravelly, tired male voice completely alone. When my last shift is over, leave my boots where they've always been. When my final whistle sounds and they lay this body down, do not dress me like a rich man. That was never who I am. Leave my work boots by the door, where I kicked them off before. Let the dust stay on the floor. Leave my work boots by the door. Give my hammer to my boy. Give my girl her mama's toys. Let Mary keep that pawn shop ring. It was always worth more than anything. Say I worked and say I tried. Say I love the ones beside me. Leave my work boots by the door. They have carried me this far. I was never rich in gold, but I built a life worth more. Leave my work boots by the door. Let that porch light shine once more. I was just a working man who gave his family all he had. All rhythm instruments stop. Yeah, just leave them by the door. One final low fiddle note.